Okay, so it's been a while since we've done this, probably years actually. But we're here at Jurong East at the Westgate Mall. So one of the things that I've always kind of felt bad about, especially the 7 years I lived in the Philippines, was that I never actually explored it that much. Living somewhere abroad, you're supposed to like explore the country. So what I decided to do is to try and do that here in Singapore, especially because it's so much smaller, so it's easier to do that. So we're gonna do a series of basically exploring the different MRT lines. We're gonna start with, I think it's the North-South line.
North-South, yeah.
North-South line, the red line. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go on 3 stops across the line. We're gonna go at the first stop, the last stop, and a stop in the middle. So no going to like the popular places, like the North-South has like Orchard and everything that's downtown. That would be kind of cheating, you know, because the idea is to explore the country, right? Not necessarily go to the hot spots where everyone would go to if they came here, especially on vacation. So like I said, right now we're at the Westgate Mall. This is the Jurong East stop. This is stop number 1. There's a hospital by here. There's a public library by here. And then there's some pandas behind us as well. I hope you can see that. But pretty much there's an extremely busy mall here. I get the feeling there's actually 2 malls. There's like Gem and Westgate, and I think there's another mall called IMM, which is like an outlet mall. And there's not much to really explore here right off the stop, to be honest. So we're gonna look at the station a bit, and then we're gonna go to the middle stop after that, which is, what is it called? Hey there, Days of Future Past Lewis here. So I wanted to give a little history on the MRT station while Future Past Lewis and Ira travel to the next stop. The North-South line is the oldest line in Singapore, opening on November 7th, 1987. And the first station that was opened, and I'm sorry for the poor pronunciation, the Yio Chu Kang station and the To Payoh stations. But the plans for the line and the overall MRT system started in 1967, just 2 years after Singapore had gained independence. Although there was a debate on whether a bus system would be more cost-effective, the plans for the MRT were approved after 10 years of planning, and construction on the North-South line began in October 1983. The first set of train cars were built by Kawasaki Heavy Industries, with the first car being delivered in July 1986. The majority of the extensions on the line occurred between the late 80s and 90s, with the latest extension or the latest MRT station being the Canberra station in 2019. Extensions are still being planned all the way through 2030, with the next 2 stations being Bricklin and Sungei Kadut. Alright, let's go back to past me for the next stop. Okay, so we're at the second stop now. What's it called, Ira? Yio Chu Kang. Sorry if I mispronounced that. So there's actually not much really nearby the stadium except for the active SG Sports Complex. So there's tennis courts, there's probably a swimming pool nearby.
Yeah, there is.
And then you have track and field here with an event going on behind us. So I guess if you're active people, like this would probably be somewhere Ira comes to because she's a high rocks athlete. Me, I would stand under the shade, which is what they're actually warning us to do. I don't know if you can see in the clouds above us, but the standard Singapore special, a mid-afternoon shower, is coming through. I'm gonna try and see if we can make it to the school before the storm comes, and then we'll head on to our final stop of the day, which is Marina South Pier at the end of the North-South line. Hopefully it's not raining over by there. All right, so behind us is the sports complex. Nothing's going on today. It's actually pretty quiet here. There is a bit of niceness to the quiet, right? Like, if you're like me and you just feel super like self-conscious when there's people around looking at what the hell you're doing, although there is some construction workers over there probably being like, what the hell are these two doing? Then this is actually a great place. That's like the oldest car I've seen in Singapore.
I was gonna comment about it.
I've never seen a car that looks like it was from the 1980s here.
Well,
So I guess if you wanted like a chiller part of Singapore to live in, have a nice quiet run, not too many people distracting you, then this would be a good spot. Like, there's even like a little river that runs through. Although it's not necessarily a waterway, it's more of like a utility type thing. But in terms of like chill, quiet Singapore, I think this is pretty top tier in that regard. Anywho, storm's getting closer, so we got to get out of here. We're gonna head over to the last stop by the ocean. Let's go see the Pacific Ocean.
Marina Bay.
So before we close out on the beach, what about the juicy stuff, like those crazy accidents that end up on Live Leak? Well, thankfully, there really hasn't been anything too serious in the nearly 40-year history of the North-South line. In 2003, a car crashed onto the tracks, which resulted in the train narrowly avoiding a major collision. In 2017, the tunnels were flooded between Brad Isle and Bishan Station, causing about a day's delay in service. The latest incident was this past June, where a lightning strike actually caused a small fire that disrupted service for a few hours. So, as you can see, this line actually has a pretty good track record and nothing too crazy has happened on it yet. So on that positive note, let's get back to the beach vibes. Alright, we finally made it to the ocean. You can see the magnificent Pacific Ocean out here. There's lots of boats. What are these boats for? I mean, these aren't the usual. The tankers are out that way. There's tankers that way. But these boats are different kind of, I guess, fishing boats, right? Pretty peaceful here. I've actually never been here before.
Me neither.
Another place I have never been. I've been to this station. I took a couple of children out for a sea adventure, and it went semi-well out here. But can't say it's the nicest beach I've been into, but it's always peaceful to be by the water after a long day of adventure. Marina Bay Sands is just opposite of us, and we can't actually show by the station. There's very scary signs that say don't film here, and they have guns pointed at you, so
Yeah.
We'll avoid that. But Ira is over this for today. So we're gonna make our way back because she's quietly suffering like a good trooper. But yeah, the journey is complete on the North-South line
3 stops
for today. Yeah, there's no food here. There's been no food anywhere.